look how they're trying to murder my boy. Francis Ngannou has just been summoned to fight between July and September of this year. Not 2025, which is when he should be fighting, but they want him back as quickly as possible. The PFL president has said it, and it might be the end of Ngannou. Ngannou's gonna get Volkanovski'd, isn't he? That powerful Brazilian right hand just flashes Ngannou and it gets finished off by ground and pound. Would be so sad to see. And you already know the narrative. If Ngannou gets knocked out by Ferreira, everybody's gonna say, wouldn't happen to John Jones though. We saw all of that with the Joshua fight. So many people were posting Jones would never have gotten done like Ngannou did. Bro, Jones won't even fight Tom Aspinall. He wants to fight a senior citizen. But honestly, would they have a point? Would the John Jones fans have a point by saying that none of this would ever happen to Jones? I don't know, dude. I think John Jones would have gotten beat way worse by Anthony Joshua than Ngannou did. Making a fight with any heavyweight a lot more risky, right? This isn't just an Ngannou problem. Any heavyweight getting dropped by Joshua twice and then knocked out, going into a fight with a legitimate heavyweight a few months later, I think any heavyweight on the planet would be at risk of losing. But the PFL is about to have a giant show, a whole pay-per-view card in Saudi Arabia with Ngannou headlining it against their champion, Renan Ferreira, that could be the execution of Ngannou at the end. What could be the whole thing around this? Well, Ngannou's been talking about going back to boxing. He has been not talking about going back to MMA as much, and this can seem like an infinite loop with Ngannou, constantly just recycling boxing fights, and the PFL is gonna be like, yo, when is this guy ever when is he gonna fight for us? And after the loss to Joshua, Francis Ngannou came out and said that he wants to keep boxing. He said, quote for quote, boxing owes me. And he wants to right that wrong of what just happened with Joshua. And the PFL is probably like, I don't think so, buddy. Slow down there. You're coming back to the PFL. And you're fighting right now. If this is what Ngannou wants to do, he wants to keep boxing, we'll give him a reason to stay in boxing. He's 37 years old. We can build our guy off of him. And this is the only champion we got now since Bellator bent all of our champions over. No, I'm joking. They didn't say any of that. What I think happened was Ngannou signed a contract before the Joshua fight that he was supposed to fight in the PFL this summer. So like before he got knocked out or anything like that. That's what I think, even though it could be a bit different. Can you imagine if Renan Ferreira puts Ngannou in that Ryan Bader position, face down and stuff, Ngannou gets KO'd for the fourth time in a few months span, Ferreira parading the slaying of the king? That'd be so sad. If there's a way for Ngannou to get out of this and wait until next year or something, I think he should take that because he can absolutely afford that. I hope he makes that decision if he can. A lot of people talk about Ngannou's legacy taking a hit. Nothing happened in his career so far that impacted his legacy negatively. Losing to Ferreira this way will sting a little bit, but maybe Ferreira would do this to a lot of other heavyweights. We don't even know. Yeah, Ngannou should be able to beat any of the PFL fighters, but when his brain has been rattled as many times as it was in that one single fight a few weeks ago, I'm not too sure he has enough recovery time to come back. One can say that the PFL champions are trash cans, but he's fighting a pretty big trash can. Renan Ferreira is a monster in his own right. Even though he's not the most technical or the most skilled, you don't even need to be a heavyweight. The last UFC Fight Night was an example of that. He has a lot of power. He's quite athletic. He's quite fast for his size. He's 6'8". And we know how Ngannou came back after losing before against Stipe Miocic, a humbling experience for Ngannou at the time that led to him to get better as his career unfolded. But he had a staring contest with Derek Lewis the fight after. Did not react well to losing, and he even admitted so. Losing the way he did against Anthony Joshua was much worse. By him getting concussed as many times as he did, he got dropped 3 times in 5 minutes and got KO'd, unconscious, flatlined, and they got the oxygen tank out for him. A very haunting sight. He didn't just get knocked out normally. Ngannou literally said he has memory loss from that fight and doesn't remember anything that happened after the first time he got knocked down. Yeah, it's probably over for Ngannou. Honestly speaking, it's a career-changing kind of knockout. That is not a normal knockout, especially as old as Ngannou is. That kind of punishment he took from Anthony Joshua could change any fighter. And we know now that Ngannou is not invincible. More importantly, Renan Ferreira knows that. The aura is gone in a sense, and Ferreira is going to have a lot more confidence now going into their fight. I'm going to be honest here, I will not be surprised at the least bit if Ferreira knocks Ngannou out. For anybody that doesn't know Renan Ferreira, the guy hits extremely hard, better striking than he has a ground game. Ngannou definitely has a better chance of taking the fight to the ground and winning by staying on top. Ferreira is going to be fast, he's going to be strong, he has a very long reach, decent enough striking skills for a heavyweight, has a lot of confidence in his right hand. Even though prime for prime, in their best form, Ngannou absolutely beats Ferreira. But under the circumstances right now, coming back a few months after getting KO'd viciously, brutally by one of the biggest punchers in the world, at 37 years old, may not have as much motivation in the sport after making so much money, making excuses about his last fight. Yeah, I'm definitely not going to be surprised if Ferreira beats him. I don't want to see that, but this is a game of inches, even comparing UFC fighters to PFL fighters. One wrong move, especially in the heavyweight division, can cost any of those fighters. Once he's in the cage with Renan Ferreira, I don't know, man. I don't know what kind of Ngannou we're going to see out there. We've seen how he reacted in the past, and it was not good at all. We know Renan Ferreira is going to have all the confidence to just take this guy out. I mean, it's PFL's like only fighter they got. And Ngannou did make a very weird excuse about the Joshua fight. He said that they took him to the arena at 10:30 and they brought Anthony Joshua at 1:45. And the fight was supposed to start at 3. So he said that they were trying to sabotage him on purpose, get him tired at the event. He also said that he was not the same during the fight. He had an off night. It wasn't the same fighter that went up against Tyson Fury. It looks like he's not taking the loss well, even though he got paid very well for it. But the thing is, can the promoter force Ngannou to fight during a certain date? That's the thing I don't know. Because he did say the card that he wanted him on and who else is fighting on that card. They're going to have Ngannou versus Renan Ferreira as the main event for the Saudi Arabia card. They don't have an exact date for it, but they're saying sometime in the summer. Chris Cyborg versus Larissa Pacheco. And Cedric Doumbé is going to be on the card as well versus somebody, most likely a rematch with Baki. Because we know that first fight was one of the weirdest finishes of all time. Mark Goddard, of course Mark Goddard. He was all in Cedric Doumbé's face. Hi, get back in the fight, you f***ing tit, you low-life moron. Don't you make me get these gloves on, mate. You better not stop fighting, you fucking moron. Hi. Bro, he's so aggressive for no reason. So Mark Goddard stopped the fight due to a splinter that seemed to have been some kind of glass inside of Cedric Doumbé's foot. Now, it was really small, so it is kind of funny that this little piece of glass finished Cedric Doumbé. But there was a whole controversy around that with, who was the one that actually stopped fighting, because Mark Goddard thought it was Cedric Doumbé that stopped fighting when, in fact, it was Baki. So maybe they run that fight back. It was actually pretty interesting when it was going down. So the reason why Ngannou is being part of this, I think, is because he did sign a contract before. And at this point, Ngannou has to oblige. He has to fight on the thing he signed for. And it's a smart move from the PFL. Maybe not great for Ngannou to do that, but that's what I think happened. And it's no wonder they're going to stack this card with their biggest stars. It's a big opportunity for the PFL to have their heavyweight champion defeat Ngannou, I think, because they know Ngannou's older, right? He's 37 years old. He just got knocked out viciously. He's not going to have a long time in combat sports. And against their heavyweight champion, they want their champion to win, right? No promoter wants their champions to lose to a newcomer that's not going to be sticking around long. And Ngannou's already showed a lot of interest in staying in boxing. And Saudi Arabia loves having this guy over there. So he's going to have a lot of boxing matches in the future as much as he wants, as long as he can win. Because if he keeps losing, then that's going to be it for Ngannou's boxing career. But he already made generational wealth. He doesn't need to keep fighting, but he definitely will look at the opportunities to do so. Right, maybe try to go up against now any other top 10 heavyweight boxer. Really determined to get a win here.